ja, hij wordt altijd een rocklegende genoemd. Het lijkt mij zo erg om altijd een legende genoemd te worden. Maar goed, het is gewoon een ongelooflijk aardige man die nu heel erg grote zorg heeft omdat zijn zakcomputertje kapot is gegaan. Hij de hele middag in Amsterdam heeft gezocht naar een vervanging en dat niet heeft gevonden. Dus dat is eigenlijk het voornaamste wat hem nu beheerst. Hij komt hier omdat hij een musical opera geschreven heeft over Edgar Allan Poe. Die heet Poetry en die is geënsceneerd door Robert Wilson. Maar die is helemaal door hem geschreven en gecomponeerd. Volgende week in het Muziektheater in Amsterdam te zien. Ik zal straks precies zeggen wanneer. Hier is Lou Reed. You remember my name, Mr. Reed?
Hanukkah.
Yes, now, well, he's a genius. They always say you're a legend, but I think you're just a nice genius. Okay, this was the conversation. Yes, you're already very fond of each other. Welcome, I'm very happy you're here. You especially came to talk about poetry, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, and you know I have to translate every now and then. Not too much, because everybody who sees you speaks English, but a little bit. I'm an old teacher, so I think, well, everybody must understand it.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Did you see the pictures of... you're a photographer yourself? You make...
I've been known to take some photos.
You've been known to take some photos?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I've had a couple of shows, but I don't sell them because I take them just for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So...
What subject?
Anything. Buildings. I like buildings.
Mm. In New York or everywhere?
Oh, everywhere.
Okay.
Buildings and lights.
No people?
Once in a while some people, but everybody has pictures of people.
Oh, yeah.
But not everybody has pictures of Chinese people.
Thank you. Saved by the bell. You spent your this afternoon in Amsterdam, but you were here before. I have a friend who saw you on the Central Station a while ago when you were here for your performances, you know.
I've been to Amsterdam so many times.
Yes, and nobody recognizes you, huh?
I blend in.
Yes, you blend in.
Because I look Dutch.
You look Dutch?
Yeah?
Yeah? What's Dutch? What's a Dutch look? Okay. And I thought you would have sunglasses and all these rock things, but none of that all.
No, nothing.
Yeah, well, that's okay, that's okay. But what do you think of Amsterdam? What do you think of, do you feel at ease in our city?
I love Amsterdam.
Why?
Because everybody speaks English,
yeah.
Because of the red light district, because the canals, it's so beautiful,
oh, yeah.
Because I know my way around, and the people are always so nice.
Okay. Well, that's enough.
You sure?
Yeah, well, I think you will say that.
And I know
tulips,
the people will... I won't say tulips and dikes.
Okay, dikes?
No wooden shoes, no dikes, no tulips.
But dikes are also in the red light district, no?
I don't know, I've never been there.
Okay.
But I'm sure you could tell me.
We hebben Amsterdam nu even besproken. En hij vindt het hier leuk, maar daar hoef ik verder niets over na te vertellen. Let's talk about poetry.
Let's.
Yes. Musical opera, you call it, huh?
I didn't call it.
No, but how would you describe it?
I think of it as a play with music.
Yeah.
And I did the text and all the music. You okay? Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you.
This is the...
There you go. Feel better.
Thank you.
And it's about Edgar Allan Poe.
The great American writer.
Yeah. When did he come into your life?
I read Poe when I was a young man, but it was much different than when I read Poe when I was older. And one of the reasons I became more aware of Edgar Allan Poe was I was doing a benefit for a church in Brooklyn, that's the St. Anne's Church. They do art projects. And we were doing a benefit with my friend Hal Wilner,
Ja.
who's a great producer. And it was Halloween, so everybody was doing Halloween kind of things. I don't know if you know what do they know what Halloween is?
Do you know what Halloween is? Ja. Een soort carnaval met pompoenen. Een soort iets met pompoenen en lights in it.
And ghosts.
And masks and
ghosts.
ghosts.
And scaring
course,
people.
Yeah.
So Hal asked me to read something. You can you complete it for me?
No, the rest I don't know, but I thought, well, it must be Edgar Allan Poe, yeah?
So Wilner asked me to read Edgar Allan Poe, anything I wanted, so I read The Telltale Heart, which I had read before and I'd seen it in the movies. But in the movies it's really stupid.
Why?
Because it's very superficial. It's for 6-year-olds, which is fine. I don't want to have any letters from 6-year-olds. Nothing against 6-year-olds.
They don't understand you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, the movies, Roger Corman movies, it, you know, like, not serious. And when I read Poe, I didn't really get it because I read it superficially myself. But a few years back when I did it with Wilner and I read it out loud, it suddenly struck me. It was extraordinary because it was out loud.
Yeah.
And doing it out loud changed everything. And I always thought I understood the story, and then I realized I never understood the story until that night.
What did you discover then?
The psychology
Which is?
behind the character in The Telltale Heart.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing to act out the role of the character in The Telltale Heart as opposed to reading it in your mind. Because in your mind you're not acting, but when you do it in front of people, you suddenly start to act. And as I was doing it, I started absorbing it.
Yeah.
And I went, wow, this is amazing. How could I have missed this? Then a little later, Bob Wilson said to me, why don't you write a play about Edgar Allan Poe?
Let me translate. Ik vroeg wanneer Edgar Allan Poe in zijn leven is gekomen. Toen zei hij, nou, toen ik jong was al. Maar toen had ik een film gezien, maar die was nogal stomzinnig voor 6-jarigen. En later, en ik las de gedichten wel, maar later las ik het hardop op een Halloween party. En toen opeens sloeg het bij me binnen en dacht ik, wat een psychologie. En toen raakte hij dus heel erg onder de indruk van Edgar Allan Poe. En toen vroeg Bob Wilson, waarom schrijf je niet een heel stuk erover? But this psychology, tell me about it. What did strike you then? Wat trof u nou zo?
Well, in some ways Poe is like an American Shakespeare.
Yeah.
The language is very rich, very full. I had to read it, I had to have a dictionary because he uses a lot of words that are archaic or not used very frequently. So it was interesting to see what a specific writer he was, amazing language. And I just became interested particularly in an essay called The Imp of the Perverse. The general idea behind that is to make it really much simpler than it is. Why are we drawn to do things that we know are absolutely the wrong thing to do? Someone says, don't do that.
Yeah,
you know
course.
you shouldn't do that. So
You're attracted to it.
that's exactly what you do. The imp of the perverse, he calls it. I said, the imp of the perverse. That's a fantastic thing to call. But then he extrapolates on it, how that idea applies in lots of things.
Yeah.
More and more. And you can find that idea running through the stories and examples of it in the stories. So what I did is I took various essays and poems and stories of Poe and mixed them all together in a bouillabaisse of Poe.
Yeah.
And a bouillabaisse of Poe.
Bouillabaisse of Poe. A bouillabaisse of Poe heeft een...
And 4 birds in a hair tree.
Can you say one poem of Poe? By
No.
heart? No?
Oh, no.
Oh, no?
They're very long.
Yeah.
So.
Well...